Okay, we are deep into summer right now, which according to our next guest means there's a good chance we've already committed a number of summer skin sins.
Yeah, and she's gonna take us through some of the most common summer skin no-nos today and give us her expert solutions. Please welcome dermatologist Dr. Renee A. Beach. Welcome to the show, my dear.
Thank you.
So I think this first summer skin sin goes without saying, and that's gotta be tanning, right?
Yeah.
Tanning!
So I know it, but people still do it. I see it all the time. And the reality is I know people want that summer glow. They want that sun-kissed look. But what tanning is it's cellular damage. It's DNA damage. So as soon as that happens, yes, you see the tan, but what we don't see is all the damage that down the line can lead to skin cancers, mottled skin, wrinkles, all the things that we don't associate with glorious, luminous skin.
But even when you wear sunscreen, you can still get a tan. That's what I don't get. How do you avoid that?
So it's true, you know, we always recommend SPF 30 and above, but there's 3 other things you can do. So you can make sure that you're trying to avoid peak hours, which is 10 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Right.
You can use a circumferential hat, so a hat with a brim all the way around. And then the last thing is, which is really not well known, is UPF clothing. So there's UV protective fabric. And that UPF clothing, when used, it blocks about 99.8% of rays. So it's even more effective than sunscreen when worn.
That's incredible.
Oh, excuse me while I try and block my tan from Dr. Renee. Okay, but the next summer skin sin that you'd like to address, which I never heard of, and this sounds bananas to me, applying lemon to the skin?
Yeah.
People do this?
I never heard of that.
I need a piece of fish.
We used to do it to our hair.
So yes.
Are you a piece of fish in a skillet? I don't understand why you're using the lemon.
So what are you doing with the lemon on your skin?
So I encountered it last week, which is what prompted me to bring it up, because lemon is known, it has citric acid, it has vitamin C, so it's a skin brightener. So people use it because they think, okay, well, it will brighten my skin, not realizing that it can actually cause, you know, a burn. It can even cause this streaky pigmentation called phytophotodermatitis.
Wow.
And instead, you know, really what we'd use is we'd use an alpha hydroxy acid. So a product that illuminates the skin. It's acceptable for all skin tones, all skin types, even in pregnancy. But an alpha hydroxy acid, like glycolic acid, that can be used instead.
All right, so let's talk about another no-no, something that you see during the summer, that people stop using their retinoids during the summer. Why is that a no-no?
Well, okay, so first of all, what is retinoid? It's a vitamin A derivative.
Break that down first, yeah.
So we often prescribe it because it has so many benefits. It smooths the skin, decreases oil, prevents acne, builds collagen, decreases fine lines. So it does all these things. So if you're stopping it for June, July, and August, you've stopped it for a quarter of the year, and you're gonna lose those benefits. Okay. Instead, what you can do is you can apply the use the retinoid in the evening, and then make sure that you're applying sunscreen in the daytime, usually SPF 30 and above is what's suggested.
And I was told to only use the retinoids in the evening time at bedtime because it makes your skin more sensitive to the sun?
So some people believe that. I think if you're consistently practicing safe sun practices, it's not as much of an issue.
Okay, all right. So what about mixing your retinoids with your AHAs? And then also break down what's an AHA.
Yeah. So the AHA is alpha hydroxy acid, so things like glycolic acid would count, even citric acid would be one. And so I wouldn't recommend using them both simultaneously. I wouldn't recommend layering them one on top of the other. Instead, though, what I would do is I would use them on alternate nights. So for example, Monday night, maybe that's your retinoid, and then Tuesday is your glycolic, and so on. So you're alternating nights. That way you get the benefit of both, whereas the glycolic is gonna be a lot more soothing and gentle, and then that retinoid is gonna pack a bit more punch.
Okay, gotcha.
Dr. Renee, I feel like for the last 5, maybe even 10 years, it's been drilled into our head, like daily SPF, wear sunscreen all the time. Do you ever come across people that still don't use it?
I do, and I think there's a few reasons. I think number one, they feel that it's too much. So for example, we have humid weather right now across a lot of the country, and if you use a moisturizer and then your sunscreen, it's just gonna feel really thick and cakey and too much, and it feels like everything's melting off. So one of the tips I recommend is I actually skip my cream. So I just go right from, you know, my serums to my sunscreen, because if you think about it, sunscreen really is moisturizing enough. You don't necessarily need that second layer.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, and not to interrupt, but I don't use SPF sometimes because I couldn't find an SPF that didn't give me that kind of grayish ashiness, which then affects the, you know, the makeup that I put on top of it.
I know. It's true. It's a common complaint. I think that you have to find one that you like. I do have several that, you know, I believe in and that I personally carry in the clinic, that I make sure that you try it on in person, and then you use it. But you can find one that's a lotion-based. Yes. Oftentimes they're in a pump form. They might have a little bit of zinc in it, and those are ingredients that tend to come together to be very, very luminous on the skin and not looking cakey in that ashy tone.
Okay.
So you were mentioning moisturizer earlier. This is a summer skin sin that I am guilty of, which is that I use the same moisturizer at night year round. It doesn't matter if it's winter or summer.
I think that's a good. I'm not the doctor, but I think that's fine.
But you're saying that
So it could be.
The
It
doctor's
could
like,
be. No. So this is the issue. A lot of the winter moisturizers are thicker. They have sterols. They have ceramides. They have a lot of humectants in them, and we just don't need the same amount of ingredients in the summertime. So I don't think it's the biggest sin, but I would prefer a water-based lotion. Oftentimes you'll find it in a pump. So that's one telltale sign, as opposed to a thicker cream that's in a jar. And I just suggest applying it where you need to. If you're dry, put it on. If you're not dry, for example, in your T-zone, skip that area.
Oh, it's nice.
There you go. All right, so what about, the people who are going camping, or maybe they've been running through the jungle and they get all of those mosquito bites? I don't know what you do in your spare time. I don't know. I'm not here to judge.
You know what I do? Because I golf and I'm always getting, and so I do the X, like the cross.
Yes.
Like
Wait,
everybody
we all
goes
do
do the
that.
X. Yes.
Okay, but now.
Okay, Dr. Renee is.
Are we supposed to do that? Is that a no-no?
I think so. For example, the better than the sin would be using ice. So it's so basic, it's so simple, it's so natural, it's affordable for everybody. It's just putting on ice because it's anti-inflammatory, it's numbing, and it will decrease the inflammation.
That's
Okay, so we're gonna stop digging our nails into our skin. Okay, gotcha.
I'm the genius who never thought of ice to put on my skin.
Listen, you're not alone.
The thing with digging is it's one step away from picking. You pick, you could get infection, you could get scarring, you can get pigmentation changes, and all those last much longer. Ice.
So just get the ice.
Dr. Renee, thank you so much for your amazing advice and your wisdom.
You know where you can get some more all-around great content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with all the laughs and thought-provoking chats you could ask for. So do yourself a favor, like and subscribe now.